Chapter 1. Introduction to Demon Souls. Released in 2009, Demon Souls stands as a groundbreaking action role-playing game developed by From Software and published by Sony Computer Entertainment. As the debut title of director Hidetaka Miyazaki, the game laid the foundation for an influential series renowned for its demanding gameplay and rich, atmospheric lore. Set in the grim kingdom of Boletaria, the story unfolds around the advent of a mysterious mist shrouding the land, bringing forth nightmarish demons and endless despair. Within this dark fantasy, players must unearth the secrets behind the soul-devouring fog and confront the malevolent forces that threaten to consume the world. Demon Souls is celebrated not only for its gameplay innovation, but also for its deep storytelling conveyed through cryptic dialogue, environmental cues, and carefully crafted world-building. The blend of bleak aesthetics, intense challenge, and haunting narrative established a genre-defining experience and left a lasting imprint on gaming history. Chapter 2. The Fall of Boletaria and the Soul Flame. At the heart of this dark tale lies the once prosperous kingdom of Boletaria, a land that for centuries knew peace and stability under its wise rulers. Life thrived in cities filled with bustling markets, towering castles, and thriving communities dedicated to arts, magic, and swordsmanship. However, the reign of King Allant XII marked a turning point. Driven by ambition and a desire to expand his power, the king delved into forbidden knowledge and ancient rites. His curious and reckless pursuit led him to awaken the Old One, a lurking cosmic force hidden deep beneath Boletaria's earth. This awakening released a suffocating, impenetrable mist that swiftly engulfed the realm, cutting it off from the outside world and spreading terror. The mist was more than a mere fog. It was a curse, laced with dark energies that twisted the land and corrupted its people. Demons poured forth, creatures born from despair and soul consumption, overwhelming the once proud knights and populace. Central to Boletaria's fate was the Soul Flame, a sacred power that sustained life and magic across the kingdom. As the Old One's darkness spread, the Soul Flame's glow diminished, its warmth fading toward cold extinguishment. The souls of the fallen, knights, sorcerers, and citizens, were devoured and transformed into fuel for the Old One's insatiable hunger. This intersection of ambition and catastrophe set in motion a cycle of destruction and decay, a tragic consequence of humankind's quest for power unchecked by wisdom. Boletaria's downfall serves as a somber warning, highlighting how the pursuit of dominion over forbidden forces leads to ruin and chaos, a theme woven deeply into the fabric of the game's narrative and the player's unfolding journey. Chapter 3. The Maiden in Black and the Nexus. At the heart of the tangled mysteries of Demon Souls lies the Maiden in Black, a spectral guardian enshrouded in mystery and quiet grace. She resides within the Nexus, a mystical sanctuary removed from the physical chaos of Boletaria and existing as a liminal space connecting fractured realms lost in the mist. The Nexus itself is an ethereal hub, ancient and timeless, where souls gather and find respite from endless conflict. Within this haven, the Maiden serves as a guide and protector for those chosen to combat the demonic scourge. Her powers center on nurturing the fledgling strength of the player, tending the flame of regeneration, a potent eternal fire that symbolically and literally restores those who fall in battle back to life, granting another chance in their perilous mission. Her presence is both comforting and cryptic. Though her words are few and her demeanor gentle, the Maiden's connection to cosmic forces goes far beyond mortal understanding. She embodies themes of rebirth and fragile hope, offering solace amidst overwhelming gloom. Throughout the journey, the player returns repeatedly to the Nexus, drawing strength and learning the weight of their role in the cosmic balance. The Maiden is not just an ally, but a symbol of the tension between light and darkness, life and decay, realms and voids. Her ambiguous nature invites reflection on sacrifice and the ongoing struggle to preserve a fading world. The Nexus's role as a bridge between worlds further deepens the story's metaphysical depth, framing the player's quest as one that spans beyond the material, touching on the very survival of souls themselves. Chapter 4. The player's arrival and role as the slayer of demons. The player's journey begins as a mysterious, nameless warrior summoned suddenly to Boletaria by a cryptic call emanating from the Nexus. Without memory or origin fully known, this soul is chosen to bear the heavy mantle of the Slayer of Demons, a role steeped in profound burden and power. Tasked by the Maiden in Black, the player must navigate this fractured kingdom, devastated by the Old One's curse, hunting down the terrible archdemons whose souls fuel the spreading darkness. The land is harsh and unwelcoming, dotted with ruined castles, desolated villages, and twisted forests where corrupted knights and monstrous demons reign unchecked. Every victory against these demonic princes grants the player the ability to absorb powerful souls, which become weapons, spells, or enhancements vital to survival. With each demon slain, the player's strength grows, but so too does their proximity to the delicate balance between light and shadow, risking the lure of darkness with every soul claimed. This transformation challenges their identity, testing endurance, willpower, and morality. Beyond the physical struggle, the player unravels the complex tapestries of history, ambition, and despair embedded in Boletaria's ruins. Along the way, they face fierce adversaries, form fragile alliances, and make choices reflecting sacrifice and redemption. The player's journey is a microcosm of Boletaria's tragic fate, their fate intertwined with the fragile flame that sustains the world's existence. Through resilience and courage, the Slayer of Demons stands as the last hope in a land slipping toward eternal night. Chapter 5. Archdemons and the Soul Transposition System. Powerful and fearsome beings known as Archdemons dominate the corrupted lands of Boletaria, each a pillar of the Old One's dark influence. These entities are more than mere monsters. They are souls of great magnitude, some once noble mortals, others ancient beings transformed or corrupted by dark energies. Each archdemon commands vast regions, embodying devastating powers drawn from realms of fire, darkness, or arcane magic. Their defeat is no simple task. It requires tactical mastery and keen resolve to overcome. Central to Demon Soul's unique gameplay and lore is the Soul Transposition System, an ingenious and perilous method by which the player can forge weapons and items using the captured souls of these mightiest foes. This process is both practical and symbolic, demonstrating how power is forged through sacrifice and the absorption of life essence. By transmuting the souls of these fallen demons, players can create legendary weapons that carry the imprint of their origins. Flaming blades infused with the fury of the flame lurker, or mystical armaments steeped in the haunting vigor of the old monk, for example. The relationship between the player and these souls is complex. While these powers empower the Slayer of Demons, they also embody the corrupted hopes, tragic stories, and lingering curses of Boletaria's past. Each archdemon's background reveals echoes of the kingdom's downfall. Falls from grace, broken oaths, and shadows cast by ambition and despair. Slaying them turns the tide in a world drowning in darkness, marking pivotal points in the spiritual and literal struggle to reclaim the kingdom's soul. Chapter 6. The Broken Lords and the Fall of Nobility. Boletaria's nobility, once pillars of honor and chivalry, were shattered by the creeping darkness that accompanied the mist's arrival. The proud lords and venerable knights who once governed and protected the kingdom found themselves ensnared by madness and misfortune. King Allant the 12th, the man whose fatal ambition ignited the Old One's rise, exemplifies this tragic downfall. Once heralded as a just and brave sovereign, he became a figure consumed by the very darkness he sought to command. His mind succumbed to despair and fragmentation, his body becoming a monstrous shadow of his former self, and thus the ruler and destroyer of Boletaria simultaneously. Many loyal knights of the realm met similar fates. Ostrava of Boletaria, a devout and stalwart warrior, embodies the painful struggle between loyalty and decay. Dedicated to his vows, despite suffering from madness and doubt, Ostrava's journey is one of heart-wrenching perseverance. Yet even his steadfastness could not prevent the inevitable fragmentation of the social order. The once glorious courts descended into violence, betrayal, and ruin. The nobility's fall is not merely a backdrop for the player's quest. It is a somber narrative core, illustrating how pride and the lust for power can corrode even the strongest of bonds. The lords who survived turned into tragic figures, trapped in cycles of futile resistance and sorrow. Their ruins scatter across Boletaria. Castles half collapsed, banners hanging tattered, echoes of their once mighty presence lingering hauntingly. Their lingering spirits, as encountered in ruins and occasional phantasms, serve as reminders of sacrifice and caution. Each step through these remnants invites the player to reflect on the cost of ambition and how swiftly order can give way to chaos amid creeping darkness. Chapter 7. Old King Allant and the Awakening of the Old One. King Allant the 12th's legacy is etched deeply into Boletaria's doomed story. Initially celebrated for wisdom, strategic prowess, and diplomacy, his later actions became a harbinger of ruin. Haunted by prophetic visions and driven by a desire to secure eternal power for his kingdom, Allant uncovered forbidden knowledge buried beneath the royal city. His quest led him to the ancient seals holding the Old One fast, an immense soul whose power dwarfed mortal comprehension. Ignoring dire warnings and counsel, Allant performed a ritual that shattered these seals, awakening the slumbering cosmic force beneath the earth. The consequences were catastrophic. The mist spread, boiling over the land, and the realm plunged into chaos. Demons swarmed, twisting earth and flesh alike, while the king himself underwent a horrific metamorphosis. His body became consumed by the Old One's shadow, his mind fracturing into madness and sorrow, transforming him into the monstrous embodiment of his hubris. As the final challenge of the player's quest unfolds, the confrontation with Old King Allant stands as a potent symbol of fatal ambition and the paradox of power, an authority at once destructive and pitiable. His tragic story narrates the cost of mortals meddling with unknowable forces, the danger of pride unchecked by wisdom. The revelation of Allant's fate deepens the game's themes of fate, sacrifice, and the tension between salvation and damnation, highlighting the thin line separating gods, kings, and monsters within Boletaria's twilight. Chapter 8. The Old One, Cosmic Darkness and Eternal Slumber. The Old One is an ancient force that transcends mortal understanding, a cosmic entity predating the kingdom of Boletaria and the very lands surrounding it. It exists in a state of eternal slumber beneath the earth, a vast, dark intelligence embodying the infinite, cyclical pattern of life, creation interwoven with destruction. Where mortal souls cherish flame and light, the Old One represents an all-encompassing void, a darkness that promises both oblivion and rebirth. Ages ago, the Old One was sealed away by powerful magic and ancient rites, rituals performed by long-forgotten heroes and sorcerers who recognized the danger it posed. Despite these efforts, King Allant's awakening of the Old One gave this sleeping darkness freedom to spread its influence, casting the mist and allowing legionary demons to burst forth from the void. While commonly interpreted as a force of evil, the Old One's essence transcends simplistic definitions of good or evil. Rather, it reflects the natural cycle of entropy and renewal, the unavoidable decay from which new life and order might emerge. This cosmic principle challenges the characters and players alike to confront profound questions. What is the nature of existence? Can mortals truly control or defeat such vast power? The Old One's presence weaves into the narrative a philosophical depth, a reminder that all life is bound to cycles beyond human grasp, and that the threat of darkness is inseparable from the possibility of light. Boletaria's ruin and the agony endured by its people are thus framed not only as tragedies, but as elements of an eternal dance between opposing cosmic forces. Chapter 9. The Curse of the Mist and the Soul Arts. The mist that blankets Boletaria is much more than a natural phenomenon. It is a tangible manifestation of the Old One's corrupt influence and an emblem of the kingdom's curse. This thick, suffocating fog seeps into every corner of the land, cloaking once familiar places in eerie silence and aberration. The mist isolates Boletaria, cutting it off from the outside world and fostering a state of despair and confusion among its inhabitants. Beneath this veil, monstrous demons roam freely, hostile forces blend with corrupted knights and tormented souls, and the natural order is upended. Interwoven with the mist's pervasive menace lies the mystical power of souls, a complex and multifaceted system that shapes both the story and the player's abilities. The soul arts represent various mystical techniques, spells, and enchantments that manipulate spiritual energy extracted from living beings and demons. Some characters and factions wield these arts with reverence, using their power for protection, healing, or the defense of light. Others become seduced by forbidden knowledge and fall prey to corruption and madness, exemplifying the dangerous allure of soul manipulation. The game explores this delicate balance, how the power to harness souls can either uphold justice or dismantle morality. The mist's curse functions as a constant reminder of sacrifice and inevitability, challenging the player to walk through a world teetering on the edge of absolute darkness. Ultimately, the soul arts and the mist are two sides of the same coin, forces that both empower and endanger, illustrating the fragile boundary between salvation and ruin in Boletaria. Chapter 10. The Role of the Black Phantom and the Abyss. Within the shadows of Demon Soul's bleak world, black phantoms emerge as tragic figures twisted by despair and unchecked hunger. These dark entities are souls corrupted by the mist's influence and their own overwhelming desire to consume life essence. Unlike traditional phantoms who retain a thread of their former selves, black phantoms represent an existential downfall, stripped of identity and consumed by malevolence. Often encountered as hostile apparitions, their presence reveals the dangerous spiritual consequences of prolonged exposure to the Old One's influence. The abyss, a concept extending deeper than the mist, embodies the ultimate pit of corruption, a spiritual void that devours not just bodies, but the very essence of souls, erasing memory, will, and hope. Black phantoms are reflections of what awaits those who surrender fully to the darkness, lost in endless torment. In multiplayer contexts, the game's systems simulate the arrival of black phantoms as invaders, embodying the constant threat from other souls, heightening tension and danger. This blurring of friend and foe, self and other, emphasizes the pervasive chaos gripping Boletaria. The abyss and its denizens provoke deeper contemplation about the nature of identity, the fragility of the soul, and the danger of succumbing to despair. Each encounter is thus both a physical and symbolic conflict, reminding players that the true enemy may not only be external demons, but also the erosion of self amidst overwhelming darkness.
Chapter 11. Boletarian Clergy and the Power of Faith.
The Boletarian clergy stand as an important yet complicated pillar within the kingdom's history and spiritual fabric. Before the Mist's arrival, these clerics were respected guardians of faith, wielding sacred magic to heal wounds, protect communities, and invoke blessings to ward against evil. Their teachings centered on the soul flame's divine nature and the necessity of preserving balance between light and darkness. Figures like Saint Urbain, a renowned warrior priest clad in ceremonial armor, exemplify the clergy's former glory and their dedication to fighting demonic corruption. However, the encroaching darkness strained even their faith. Some clergy members succumbed to despair, while others sought dangerous and heretical means to wield the soul flame's power more aggressively. The source of their magical abilities is deeply entwined with their spiritual convictions, but the line between holy intent and fanaticism blurred amid the crisis. Rituals once sacred became darker rites of desperation. The clergy's diminishing influence mirrors the kingdom's overall decline, as their doctrines struggled to confront incomprehensible evil and cosmic forces. Their storylines reveal the nuanced tension between hope and fanaticism, resilience and hubris, and the complex role of faith in times of collapse. The clergy's endurance and frailty add a rich layer to the game's narrative, demonstrating how spiritual belief can be both a refuge and a potential path to ruin. Their legacy persists in abandoned temples, forgotten cathedrals, and whispered prayers, hints at a once powerful light striving to endure against shadows.
Chapter 12. The Tower Knight, Flame Lurker, and other demonic guardians. The corrupted landscapes of Boletaria are defended by powerful and varied demonic guardians, each poised as both a challenge and a narrative symbol. Among these is the Tower Knight, a towering sentinel whose gleaming armor and immense blade strike fear into all who dare approach. Towering high above the desolation, this knight once stood as a champion of the kingdom, now transformed into an unstoppable force of ruin. His massive halberd and relentless fury embody the kingdom's twisted defenses, corrupted by the Old One's influence. Elsewhere burns the fiery wrath of the Flame Lurker, a demon born from volcanic fury and destruction. Engulfed in flames and molten rock, the Flame Lurker's attacks scorch the lands and char the souls of those who oppose it. Each guardian reflects a facet of Boletaria's shattered history, be it corrupted honor, elemental fury, or tortured existence. Alongside these lie other formidable bosses: the Old Monk, a mysterious figure blending shadows and sorcery; the Adjudicator, a spectral embodiment of flawed justice; and the Dragon God, a slumbering behemoth tied to ancient myths. These bosses are more than obstacles. They are echoes of a kingdom's fragmented memory, bearing traces of fallen honor, sacrifice, and despair. Their design and lore emphasize the stark contrast between chaos and the vestiges of order, creating a dramatic and immersive world. The player's victories against these beings mark significant steps toward cleansing the soul of Boletaria and restoring light amidst darkness. Chapter 13. Phantom Woods and the Vanished Queen.
In the shadowy reaches of Boletaria lies the Phantom Woods, a haunted forest shrouded in perpetual twilight and cold mist. Once a vibrant sanctuary of natural beauty, the woodland now lies corrupted, twisted into a realm where memory and reality blur. This forest is steeped in sorrow and danger, home to spectral entities and restless souls trapped between life and death. Among them is the Vanished Queen, a tragic figure whose story resonates deeply within Boletaria's legends. Once a noble ruler, she was betrayed during a time of war and political strife, her life stolen and her legacy obscured by darkness. Her spirit, unable to find peace, lingers within the Phantom Woods, weaving tales of lost power and unfulfilled justice. The forest itself serves as a metaphor for the kingdom's fading legacies, how ambitions and tragedies leave enduring scars, not only on land, but on the fabric of history and soul. As the player explores this eerie territory, each encounter with ghostly remnants prompts reflection on mortality, betrayal, and the impermanence of greatness. The Vanished Queen's melancholy presence deepens the game's atmosphere of haunting beauty and lingering despair, reminding all who venture there that even lost dreams echo through time. Through hidden clues and environmental storytelling, the Phantom Woods offers a poignant narrative thread that ties the kingdom's personal and political tragedies to the broader cosmic struggle.
Chapter 14. Ostrava of Boletaria. Honor amid ruin. Among the many figures whose stories define Boletaria's decline, Ostrava of Boletaria stands out as a beacon of honor and tragic sacrifice. A knight of unwavering loyalty and fierce dedication, Ostrava fights not only external demons, but the internal corruption gnawing at the kingdom's soul. His steadfast determination to protect the innocent and uphold the ideals of knighthood remains unbroken, despite madness creeping into his mind and the horrors surrounding him. Ostrava's journey intersects with the players on multiple occasions, lending aid in crucial battles and offering knowledge about the land and its history. His struggle reveals themes of friendship, fragmented yet resilient, faith challenged by despair, and the cost of carrying hope in a world slipping into ruin. Despite his declining mental state, Ostrava embodies a spark of humanity that defies the consuming darkness, reminding players that courage can exist even in hopelessness. His deeper story unfolds through encounters, dialogue, and quests that reveal his inner torment and eventual fate, symbolizing the noble yet doomed heart of Boletaria. His tale enriches the emotional landscape of the game, grounding its cosmic themes in a personal narrative of loyalty, loss, and the quiet dignity of perseverance. Chapter 15. Maze and Temptation. The False King. Within the twisting corridors and labyrinthine ruins scattered across Boletaria lies a cautionary tale embodied by the concept of the false king. This figure represents the allure of misguided ambition and corrupt authority, a ruler whose reign deviates into illusion and distortion. The maze-like structures, endless stone corridors, confounding traps, and shadowed passageways mirror the confusing and dangerous paths souls traverse in their search for power or salvation. The false king lures wanderers deeper into this maze with promises of strength, glory, and dominion. His rule is marked not by honor, but by deception and instability, leading those who follow him into eternal torment or madness. The player encounters signs of this false dominion both directly in hostile enemies and indirectly through environmental storytelling that hints at broken promises and shattered dreams. This narrative thread explores the themes of vanity, false hope,
and the perils of choosing empty power over genuine virtue. The convoluted maze becomes a metaphor for the tortured soul's journey in a corrupted world, one where darkness confuses and entraps, yet light can still guide the way. The struggle against the false king ultimately challenges the player to discern the true nature of strength and to resist the tempters who would bind the soul in chains of deceit. Chapter 16. The Red-Eye Knight and PvP Influence. The Red-Eye Knight is a formidable and ominous presence within the lore of demon souls, known not only as a fearsome combatant, but as a symbol of intrusion, challenge, and unpredictability. Cloaked in shining, blood-tinted armor and wielding deadly weapons, this knight embodies the harsh realities of soul-driven competition. Within the game's mechanics, the Red-Eye Knight represents the bridge between solitary exploration and the complex world of multiplayer interaction. As a spectral invader, this entity can appear to challenge players without warning, reflecting the constant threat posed by other warriors competing for survival in Boletaria's chaotic realm. This tension embodies the sense of distrust and hostility saturating the kingdom's atmosphere, one where alliances are fragile and combat is sudden. The Red-Eye Knight's presence enriches the narrative by symbolizing the breakdown of social order, illustrating how desperation and fractured hopes breed conflict even among humans. It invites reflection on the cost of survival and the potential for darkness within every soul, highlighting how the spreading mist not only corrupts monsters, but turns once noble warriors into predators. In this way, the Red-Eye Knight serves as a potent reminder that in Boletaria, danger is not limited to demons alone, but thrives in the hearts of fallen and desperate mortals. Chapter 17. The Penetrator and the Abyssal Hunter. Among the many deadly foes guarding Boletaria's darkest secrets stands the Penetrator, a relentless, heavily armored demon lord armed with a massive lance and shield. This formidable adversary embodies relentless judgment and merciless pursuit, blocking the player's path with unyielding power and precision. The Penetrator's design combines brutal strength with eerie agility, symbolizing the cold, implacable nature of corrupted authority enforcing the Old One's will. Nearby moves the Abyssal Hunter, a shadowy figure deeply tied to the abyss, the metaphysical void that threatens to consume souls and order alike. This hunter moves in silence, embodying the tenebrous forces seeking to expand the abyss's reach and drag the world into spiritual oblivion. Together, these figures serve as guardians of boundaries, both physical and metaphysical, standing between the known realm and the encroaching void. Their relentless nature tests the player's skill and determination, while their existence highlights the profound conflict at the heart of demons' souls, the struggle between light and darkness, hope and decay. Their presence in the lore represents not just opposition, but the costs of confronting an overwhelming, unrelenting evil, a challenge to maintain one's spirit in the face of despair. Battling the Penetrator and the Abyssal Hunter is both a rite and a revelation, demonstrating the grave stakes involved in the kingdom's fate. Chapter 18. The Role of the Maiden in Black's Choice. Approaching the journey's end, the Maiden in Black offers the player a profound and spiritually significant decision that will shape the fate of Boletaria and the very cycle of the soul flame. Her role transcends a simple guide. She embodies the forces of cosmic balance, renewal, and the relentless cycles of existence. Players must choose between two paths: to fully awaken the Old One and allow the consuming darkness to reclaim the world in its endless night, or to suppress the Old One's power and rekindle the fading soul flame, preserving the illuminating spark of life, albeit only temporarily. This choice is not presented as easy or wholly good versus evil, but as a complex crossroads reflecting themes of acceptance, sacrifice, and the eternal cycle between destruction and rebirth. The Maiden's serene and enigmatic demeanor underscores the gravity and ambiguity of the decision, encouraging reflection on fate and free will. Her ambiguous intentions suggest that neither outcome is the final answer, but rather part of the ongoing struggle intrinsic to the world. She symbolizes the delicate tension between hope and despair, life and death. Through this choice, players become active participants in the story's cosmic rhythms, deciding the fragile balance of light versus shadow. The decision also forces consideration of the cost of defying ancient, primordial forces and what it means to bear the burden of salvation. Regardless of the path chosen, the Maiden remains a figure of comfort and mystery, embodying both the bittersweet nature of endings and the promise that new beginnings are possible. Chapter 19. The Cycle of Light and Dark. Themes of Rebirth. At the core of Demon Soul's narrative lies the eternal interplay between light and dark, creation and dissolution, order and chaos. The soul flame represents this balance, a fragile ember sustaining life, magic, and hope in a tumultuous world. Its flickering presence signals not only vitality, but also the inevitability of decay. As the flame wanes, darkness encroaches, threatening to consume all that is bright and living. The story mirrors an unending cycle of birth, death, and renewal, where flames extinguish only to be rekindled by sacrifice and determination. This cosmic dance is reflected in all aspects of the game: the collection of souls, the defeat of demons, and the transformational journey of the player. The themes do not offer simplistic optimism or despair. Instead, they embrace complexity, illustrating a world where hope persists despite entropy's slow advance. The characters' struggles, the ruined castles, the cryptic dialogues, and environmental storytelling all weave into this philosophical framework. This cyclical view of existence invites players to consider endings not as final conclusions, but preludes to new beginnings. Amid the bleak and unforgiving world of Boletaria, the persistent flame symbolizes the human spirit's resilience. The player's quest thus becomes more than a battle against darkness. It is a meditation on the eternal rhythm of life and death, and the power of renewal even in shadow. Chapter 20. Legacy and Influence of Demon Soul's Lore. The tale woven by demon souls extends far beyond the contours of Boletaria, influencing cultural narratives and reshaping the way stories are told in video games. Its rich, intricate lore, told through fragmented histories, mysterious characters, and layered secrets, marked a new milestone in interactive storytelling. Rooted in themes of despair, hope, perseverance, and the human condition, the narrative struck a powerful chord with players worldwide, inviting them to engage intellectually and emotionally beyond mere gameplay mechanics. This legacy proved foundational for From Software's subsequent titles, which expanded on similar motifs, world-building styles, and narrative delivery, from Bloodborne to the acclaimed Dark Souls and Elden Ring series. Players found themselves drawn into a world that demands patience, curiosity, and reflection, returning repeatedly to uncover subtle clues missed before. This open-ended storytelling approach fosters a vibrant, dedicated community striving to piece together hidden truths, interpret elusive messages, and share interpretations. In doing so, Demon Souls challenged both developers and audiences to rethink narrative form, favoring atmosphere, environmental storytelling, and player-driven discovery over overt exposition. Its impact reaches into modern game design, inspiring countless titles to explore mature themes through immersive worlds and cryptic lore. Ultimately, Demon's Souls stands as a landmark of storytelling, demonstrating that video games can be profound, mythic experiences, engaging players through both challenge and contemplation. Chapter 21. Conclusion. The Enduring Darkness and Light. Demon's Souls concludes not with definitive closure, but with a resonant meditation on struggle, sacrifice, and the cyclical nature of existence. Whether the player chooses to renew the soul flame or embrace the eternal dark, the story emphasizes that balance between light and darkness is fragile and ever-shifting. The characters, lands, and histories explored throughout this journey reveal a world caught in perpetual tension, a reflection of larger existential themes found in myth and legend. The resonance of these tales endures long after the game is finished, inviting players to consider the weight of their choices and the nature of their battles. Beyond its challenging gameplay, Demon's Souls offers a timeless narrative about perseverance amid uncertainty and the faint but persistent hope found in darkness. It remains a testament to storytelling through mood, myth, and mystery, a story as haunting as it is compelling.